olhos meus e a luz dos olhos teus resolvem se encontrar. Ai, que bom que isso é, meu Deus, que frio que me dá o encontro desse olhar. Mas se a luz dos olhos teus resiste aos olhos meus só pra me provocar, meu amor, juro por Deus, me sinto incendiar. Meu amor, juro por Deus que a luz dos olhos meus já não pode esperar. Quero a luz dos olhos meus, na luz dos olhos teus, sem mais lararará. Pela luz dos olhos teus eu acho meu amor, e só se pode achar que a luz dos olhos meus precisa se casar.
Careful with what you wish for, Part 4. Mom, I need to solve something. I will be back, I promise you, Dylan said, running to her and kissing her on the forehead. And with a waving bye from his mom on the bed, he ran towards the hospital entrance. Dylan pictured Colin going back to normal inside a cage of an animal shelter and all the consequences that could have. He called a cab and then called Marcy to get the address of the shelter that she took him to. Marcy, hi. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I need that duck, Dylan said. What? Why? Marcy asked clearly, annoyed. Well, I have a friend, and he works in our building and he has a duck, and he lost his duck, which I think it could be the crazy duck running wild in our office. I know it is weird, I mean, who brings a duck to the office? But someone did, right? Sorry not mentioning before, but I didn't remember about this friend and his duck when it happened, so. Do you have the address of the shelter you left it? Dylan, man, I hope your friend wasn't too attached to the duck, because I ate it, Marcy said. You did what? Dylan stopped between the entrance of the hospital and the parking lot. I ate it. I was craving for meat after all this time being a vegan, and I learned how to prepare it as a child. I told you I grew up on a farm, right? That is why I was vegan after all. Too many animal deaths in my count. And Marcy laughed. Brain radio playing. I have a heart. I swear I do, but just not. Baby, when it comes to you, I get so hungry when you say you love me. That shitty open tab. Dylan turned off the phone without saying goodbye and started sweating. Man, what have I done? He immediately regretted not bringing Colin back to normal. It was just a cartoon, only one cartoon, and the problem would be solved. Why didn't he bother to bring the guy back to his guy form? Was it that hard? No, it wasn't. And what now? Dylan sat on the bench in the park in front of the hospital and stayed there with an empty heart and full mind for a while. What if he tries to bring the guy back? Dylan could draw that. So he grabbed a leaf on the ground and started scratching with his nails. It's not going to work, kid, a male voice said right beside him. Dylan looked up and it was the braids guy, the one that took Dylan's notebook from him. Aginju was his name and he was a guardian. Not that he was going to bother himself by explaining that to Dylan anyway. You can't manifest on the earth anymore. You don't deserve it, Aginju said while sitting next to Dylan on the bench. Why? What have I done? Dylan asked, confused. What have you done? Let's see, you decided to change the faith and the free will of everyone around you, making your mother sick, your beloved and an insane puppet, and your coworker the main meal of an animal protector. But you know what you haven't done, kid? A good action. Do something good to help someone. And you couldn't even help yourself in the end. Dylan started melting in the bench and stuttered an insecure, I'm sorry. He felt like the worst person in the world. Dylan knew that he had qualities and defects, but he always thought of himself as a good person. And as if Aginju was reading his mind, he answered, to be a good person you can't just not harm. People don't do harm because they are afraid of the consequences, not because they are good. You must do good to be good. But don't torture yourself, you just did what most people do when they achieve some sort of power. They take advantage of it. You weren't the first and won't be the last in this land. Can I fix it? Dylan said. Fix what? The mess you have made, or to regain the power you have lost? Yara, the lady in red, said, frightening Dylan and making him fall from the bench. Now, both guardians were around him and he thought that would be his end. He looked around trying to find help, but no one seemed to notice them there. You are indeed going to take the consequences of your actions, but not by our hands, Yara said, also reading his mind. And with a loud laughter she completed, we are just teaching you, because it's our job. Very few people have the chance to touch the power of manifestation, and I have never seen such a waste of talent and opportunity before. All these years dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, and when you have the chance to truly accomplish things, you choose to humiliate all the women you proudly said to yourself that you care for. And a duck, Aganju completed. Both laughed and stood up, and without announcing, they disappeared. Dylan was speechless and just watched the next 2 hours pass from that spot. Reveal to me the mystery. Can you tell me what it means? Explain these motions and metaphors. Unlock these secrets in me. Describe the vision the meaning is missing. Oh, anybody listening? Define the riddles of my mind. Nothing is really what it seems. Dylan went back home and threw himself on the sofa. He wanted to cry and hit something and hide behind his blankets all the same time. His phone then started ringing. It was Anne. Hi Anne, how are you? Feeling better? Dylan asked. Yes, I am. Listen, I have something to say, and I need you to listen carefully and do not interrupt me. Do you understand? And said calm and cold. Yes, I think so. Dylan hesitated. That day was too much for him. Okay, so I have feelings for you for a while, more than friends type of feelings. But I never felt you were interested in me, so I gave up and I allowed myself to explore other possibilities. Me and George have a story that I never told you before, and he offered me a position in the new office in New York. I know it's not just to work what he wants, because he suggested to me that we try a real relationship and maybe move in there together. I think it's too early, not sure about how I feel about this, and that's why we spent half afternoon discussing yesterday. It's confusing because it has been 4 years since I only imagined myself dating you, and I kissed you. God knows why, and you didn't care at all. Everything is unclear, but it doesn't matter now because I just accepted his offer. So, I am traveling to New York this weekend to make some arrangements, and I wanted to be the one telling you that. Friday we will have a sort of goodbye party for me and George, and the gossip will probably spread everywhere until then. So, I just wanted to make sure you would know through me, as it was supposed to be, and finished and silence remained. Consequences, Dylan thought. Dylan, are you still there? And asked. Yes, I wish you guys good luck. And happiness, Dylan spoke, as if he was really excited about it. He didn't have any rights to complain now, did he? That was certainly a chance and was giving to him to opposite to her plan, to do something about it, to fight for her. But Dylan didn't feel he was worthy of Anne. He didn't deserve her anymore, did he? And she still could be happy, maybe. Thanks, I feel relieved, and said, but her words were so sad. They turned off the phone and Dylan cried, of shame and guilt mostly, but also because he understood that probably he was given that power so he could have the confidence and make a real effort for, and while he still can, to build a life for them, like George was doing. Dylan asked so much for a chance, and at the very last chance they had to be together, he wasted. But how could he know? And who truly knows what their own last chance is after all? I watched you fall apart and chased you to the end. I'm left with emptiness that words cannot defend. You'll never know what I became because of you. 10,000 promises, 10,000 ways to lose. Dylan had nightmares during the whole night, and around 4 a.m. he couldn't sleep anymore. Next morning when he arrived at the office, Marcy yelled at him for being late for his meeting with the big boss. With everything that happened, he completely forgot about it. Dylan went directly to his office, knocked on the door and went in, but didn't bother to sit. Hi Dylan, sorry about asking you to come over at the last minute, but the circumstances required urgency. I know usually the HR that deal with this sort of thing, but my son speaks very well of your artistic talents, so I thought about talking to you directly. With George and in being transferred and both Michael and Colin in the hospital, we are distributing your team's clients to other people, and there is you. So, I will let you choose which team you want to join temporarily. What do you think about it? Big Boss said with a smile. If you don't mind, I would like to take a few days off and take care of my mom in the hospital, so I can work with Michael when he is back. Dylan said with a sad smile. Of course. Sounds good to me. I am going to notify the HR immediately, and you take the days you have right. Just go there and speak with the HR girls, he said, grabbing the phone to call them. Thanks, boss, Dylan said, walking towards the door. Wait, he suddenly turned around. Sorry, but you said that Colin is in the hospital too. What happened? Boss then answered, well, as I have heard, he fell into an internet scam. This group of thugs pretended to be a cute young woman in a fake profile and convinced him to run away with her from the conservator father she had. So he just took all his money from the bank to not be tracked and went to the train station to meet her, just to be beaten and robbed. What a goose, right?
Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Check out our website to read more tales. www.forestttales.com